G'day and welcome back to the Baby Snuff Project. So this week, as you can see, the rusticas are just exploding, and as I talked about last week, they're starting to sucker. So what I'm going to do, given the fact that there's not a lot of space left here on the table, they're getting a little too big before they get in the ground, I'm going to trim off some of these leaves, and it's also going to allow me to practice with making piles and get some of that, coloring process happening, so that when the big harvest comes, I may have a bit more practice. So I'm going to leave you now quickly and trim off some of these leaves and then show you how that goes. All right, I have returned, and this is what I have trimmed. You'll see that I took approximately 1 to 2 of the more mature leaves off, and this is going to help put a lot of that energy back into the roots, start building that up again, and prepping them for eventually going outside and giving them just a little bit more breathing room, because being so cramped up here, started getting a bit of condensation on the leaves and so on. And yeah, so anyways, back here, now my understanding with this process is the leaves have to be like all the moisture, any moisture that's on them has to be taken off, and they are to be piled front to back, right? So front to front, back to back, front to front, back to back. See, this one here has quite a bit of condensation and dew, so take that, wipe it off as much as possible. Tamp, 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 tamp. Probably a little bit more intense tamping. There we go. Back, and then front. Once this is done, the pile is then placed inside of a towel, like so. And left as such until tomorrow, or they say to do it once or twice a day, where you open them up and then clean off any of the condensation, moisture that's developed, and then randomize, repile again, and so on until you start seeing, the yellowing to browning. This being Rustica, it'll probably end up browning before it does yellow, if at all. Once again, this is my first time doing this. Who knows how it's going to go? But better to start practicing now with what little bit I did harvest, so that when we do get to the big harvest at the end of the season, we're not going to end up with a bunch of improperly cured, Nicotiana Rustica for the snuff that I'm hoping to produce. But at the end of the day, if it's all still kind of green, I'm still making snuff out of it. So that's the way it goes. Until next time, happy baby snuffing, my friends.